African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Greetings, village. My name is Simon Javan Okello, and I'm excited to be here with you today. I am, here with a special guest, my brother Victor Moriyama, who is a Brazilian photojournalist based in Sao Paulo, covering South America and the Amazon rainforest for international press and NGOs. His works are based on a humanist photograph committed to documenting the process of violence that prevail in social and environmental relations in Brazil. Agrarian conflicts, deforestation, and conservation of tropical forests and their biodiversity, genocide of indigenous population, acceleration of climate change are the themes that have guided his photographic production in recent years. Concerned about the scarcity of in-depth reports on conflicts in the Amazon, Victor created in 2019 the project at Historia Amazonicas, a community of Latin American photographers committed to documenting contemporary processes taking place in the Amazon and defining the present. His idea is to expand world knowledge and engage global society with problems within the largest tropical forest in the world. And this is the very reason why we're having this conversation with my brother Victor, who is an award-winning photojournalist. He won the NPPA 2020 first place. He won the POI 2020 first place and many other awards. And so today we are going to learn about Victor Moriyama's story, why he's a photojournalist, what a father figure means to Victor, and how Black fathers are perceived and how we can change that narrative, and also how we can support one another, and then how you, the listeners of the African Father in America podcast, and the viewers can stay connected with his work and support his work. So with that, my brother, I just want to welcome you to the African Father in America. My name is Simon Javan Okello, and this is another amazing episode. So my brother, please share with us a story of a time when you are like 8 years to 12 years old, when you realize that photography is going to be the way that you're going to change the world.
Hi, Simon, and all the audience. I'm just sorry about my English. It's not my modern language, but I try to do my best. Yeah. And thank you for your invitation and your kind words. I am Victor Moriyama. Moriyama, it's a Japanese name, and in Brazil here we have a lot of people from around the world. It's a very important part of our country. It means the story of our country. We received people from Africa in the beginning, and it's very after that we received people from Europe, US, and other countries. And my grandfather, he was Japanese, and he was running out of the war, the second biggest war in the world, and he came to Brazil in the big boats where a lot of people was dying, connected to some disease and other stuffs. And my grandfather, he came with two brothers, and they arrived here in São Paulo. We have a big port in Santos, is a near city, really close to São Paulo, because here in the city we don't have the ocean. And then, like a lot of immigrants, trying to refresh, to a new start, and trying to start a new life. And he died when I was very, very young. Like I had like 3 years old, and unfortunately I never meet him, or I was just a baby. But it's a very strong genetic. I mean, I am a white guy, but my grandfather was from Japan, and Brazil is a mixed country, and it's very. I don't know. It's. I think humanity is something that connects us, and doesn't matter what color of your skin or which country you're living. I really don't care. I think we have lot of things that connect us, and here in Brazil, we live in a very inequality society, and this is my main point of how I can look for the society. So my start point, or my main point is that Brazil is a very inequality society. We have some very complex problems, and for sure this kind of problems we can see in different aspects in our life. But for sure, it's very clear to see that in the Amazon forest. So I'm sorry, right now I'm talking about some different stuffs. But I would like to talk about the Amazon problem. But right now, you asked me to introduce myself. So
just your story, and I just wanted people to learn about that part. Because we want people to really connect with you. As Victor Moriyama. But now, you've shared with us that story of your grandfather, but when do you remember picking up the camera the first time, and how was the feeling at that very moment? I come from Kenya, and I never had shoes until my soccer team gave me soccer boots. I come from a very poor place myself. And one thing that Kenya shares with Brazil, and many African countries share with Brazil, is the love for soccer.
For sure.
We worship soccer there. So the very first shoes I was wearing was plastic soccer boots that my soccer team gave me, and it made me love soccer so much. And even now when I juggle the ball, even though I don't play much, I just remember that moment. So tell me something like that with your camera.
In fact, when I was 18 years old, and my mom, hopefully, she's a teacher in a big university here in São Paulo, and she's a sociologist, and we're working all the time with some Karl Marx ways to see the life and the society. So when I was 18, she moved to France as part of his doctoral project, and she bring us with her. Me and my young brother, we went to France to live 1 year there, and it was very, very amazing experience. I remember when my mom just bought book of Brazilian photographer Sebastião Salgado. He's probably the biggest one in the world. I don't know, but he's a very, very important photographer in the world, and he's Brazilian. And it was my first contact with photography and a very good photography. So I remember a big book called Workers from Salgado, and when I saw the pictures in black and white, and I saw that, and the book is fantastic because bring a very special look to everyone who is working in this world. So it was fantastic, and a very high level of photography. And when I saw that, it was a shock. Never thought to be a photographer. All the time I was playing soccer here in Brazil. My dream was to be a professional player in some team here in Brazil.
Right.
But for sure, here in Brazil is very complicated to become a professional soccer. We have a lot of talented people, and very complicated right now. I mean, it's involves a lot of money. It's not anymore you are a great football player, you can become a professional. No, right now it's all about money. We need, yes, corrupt. We need to pay some directors of the big teams, and because say that why I am choosing you or not this other one, and we have a lot of great players here. You know that.
Yeah.
But right now, it's one reason why we are very bad in the soccer.
Right, corruption spoils everything. Even in Kenya, there is that problem. Yeah,
it's terrible, but it's the way it is, because money. It's all about money and corruption, and it's that's very sad. So I'm so sorry. Just returning from my backyard, my story. When I was in France, my small brother, young brother, sorry, he's all the time he was saving the money. He's like this guy, and he just bought a small camera, and it was my first contact. It was my young brother camera. Now he's he's a graffiti writer. He works with graffiti here in São Paulo, in Brazil, and I'm proud of him. But the first contact, it was there, and me and my brother, we were connected to graffiti all the time when we are young, doing graffiti in the streets, and with this small camera, we just going out to the streets and take some pictures of the graffiti scene in France. So when we returned to Brazil, my brother don't care about photography anymore, and he gave me the camera, and I started to document the graffiti scene here in São Paulo, and 6 years later I printed a book about the graffiti scene here in São Paulo, because we have a very special scene of graffiti in the world. It's a very important city talking about graffiti. And then I don't know, I went to the university to study some cinema stuff, and I started to work with photography in my first year of the university. I started being an assistant for a great photographer, and I started to do this kind of job, but also working as a cameraman for some TVs, and I don't know. But it was a very decisive moment when my father and my mother, they was moving to another small city here in São Paulo, like 2 hours from São Paulo. São Paulo is the biggest city in South America with like 20 million people. It's too much. It's a chaos, but my father and my mother, they just decided to move to a small town and be relaxed, like retirement, and that's it. So I need to go out of my mom's house, and some photo editor of a small newspaper in a small city near to São Paulo, he just called me, and Victor, I need a photographer to work here in my newspaper. It's a small newspaper, but I have a staff position, and everybody in São Paulo is recommending you, and I would like to know if you want to come here and be our photographer. And wow. Like something called me in the life. I haven't at this time no backyard about journalism and the news agencies, the newspapers, I don't know what else. But something inside me, just like a mission of life, some call of God, I don't know, whatever, but it was just, I need to do that. This is my way, this is my life. I just moved to this small city, and it was very, very decisive moment in my life, because I became a photojournalist. And
when was this? Do you remember which year?
2010. 10 years ago.
That was a big year for me too. That is when I moved to the US, you know.
Really? 10 years ago too?
Yeah, that's exactly when I moved to the US.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have to celebrate, man. 10 years.
We have to celebrate.
Showing the life, yeah.
Yeah, you see, you know, this is how people meet, you know, like-minded people meet like this. Yeah. Anyway, keep going. So you moved to that city. What's the name of the city?
Yeah, it's São José dos Campos. It's more like Saint Joseph of the fields, if we can translate. But it's a very special city, economically speaking, because we have the big companies of planes, factories of planes in Brazil. When we have some other researches institutes. Like it's a very special town here, and economically strong. And it was fantastic because this photo editor Pedro Ivo Prats, he's a very close friend, and he teaches me a lot of photography and photojournalism. So he was my teacher, and I'm so glad to have him in my life and understand how is our mission to be a photojournalist. So it's a very special mission in life, because I don't know, I think the kind of work we are doing in our life is something very, very strong, very important. I mean, work is a very important part of our life and or my life. I mean, so after that, I started to work for news agencies like Agence France Press or Reuters, and I stayed there for 2 years, and then came to São Paulo to start to work in the biggest newspaper in Brazil that calls Folha de São Paulo, and after that I just stayed one year and a half in Folha de São Paulo newspaper, and it was important, but I just decided to be a freelance photojournalist because it's much more better for me, because I can work on some stories that I really believe in, the kind of stories that really touch me, and not only some usual stories. We need to work for newspapers, because newspaper we need to have some stories all the days. And after that, it was a very important moment when I just decided to be a freelance, because as a freelancer I can work on the stories I really care, and I think that they are important to show the world what kind of stuff really happening in Brazil, because Brazil is a very big country, you know, that, like a continent, and I don't know, people from São Paulo, they have no idea what's going on in northeast of the country or some poor region in the northeast. I mean, in the Amazon, it's very complicated because it's very expensive to go to the Amazon forest. It's very complicated to be there, and take planes, and sometimes it's dangerous. I don't know. So that's it. My career. I've been working in the Amazon forest for the past, 6 years or something like that. And
can you just tell us what's going on in the Amazon forest right now, and also, describe to me, the picture that you think has made you continue going back into the Amazon forest despite of all the fires and the dangers and the pressure?
Yeah. What's going on in the Amazon, not only this year or the past year, it's a historical problem. It's the deforestation problem. Because we here in Brazil, we are a huge country, and we have a lot of land. And land means money. And the people, the enterprise, they want to put cows or soy plantation in all the region. And the big companies, they really don't care. In fact, they really don't care to start a deforestation process in the forest to put their products. Soybean and cow, they are the bad guys here in this process, because we have the Amazon is huge, is incredible. It's almost in the same size of the Europe. I mean, it's something like it's very, very big territory. So we have a lot of land. That's it. Like in Africa, we have a lot of big continents. We have a lot of lands, and the big companies, want this land to work and produce whatever, food or cow or soybean. I don't care. It's just something to export to China. In fact, or other countries, but and US or whatever. But we are not talking about supply the people who are starving around the world, because in Africa or here in Brazil we have a lot of people who can't eat all the meals. They have this kind of problem, but we are not thinking about a model of development sustainable and everybody can eat. No, it's not about that. It's all about money. So what's going on in the Amazon forest is that we have a lot of land, a very, very big area, and very hard to control. We don't have and whatever to control such a big area like the Amazon forest. We really can't. It's impossible. I mean, because we have the small routes and very complicated access. We have to take some boats and go by river. It's something.
Wow.
I don't know. It's very complicated. It's because the tropical forest. It's different from, I don't know, like Virunga National Park or the savannah in South Africa. I don't know, because it's like savannah is like an open field, but Amazon is it's a rainforest.
I've been to a rainforest in Liberia, and
Liberia. Great.
Yeah, and there's no, even cars cannot go there. No bicycles. You have to walk.
Yeah.
And the bridges are made of tree trunks and tree branches, and they're very dangerous. And sometimes you come there's no bridge. You have to wait for people and build a bridge together and cross, or a boat. It's very complicated. I know very well. I don't know as well as the Amazon, and I would like to come to the Amazon one day so that I see for myself. But keep going.
Yeah. I'm glad you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's this kind of difficult to work in the field. So you are welcome. You want to come here, please? I can go to the Amazon with you. It will be a pleasure. But it's that. So what's going on is we have a lot of land and people living in some poor conditions in the Amazon. I don't know, because the government never started public, how can I say that? Like, it's complicated to say that in English, but the government in Brazil, historically speaking, never built some political to develop the region and bring more employees and bring more works for the people who is living inside the forest. It's not only the problem, but for them, it's like, I have a forest over here. I can cut off some big trees and we have money. I can sell these trees to some, how I can say that, a wood company that sell the wood to Europe or US, I don't know. And we don't have, we don't have efforts to control all these kind of activities. We have the illegal mining gold in a lot of regions in the Amazon forest. And it's right there. It's precisely that. People walking inside the forest from 2, 3, 4, 5 days to arrive and start a mining gold project, and it's illegal. And it's that. I mean, right now we have this grab land process. I don't know if you're familiar with this concept, but that's it. Someone go inside the forest, and cut off all the trees. He sell these trees as a with a high value in the commerce, and then he just put fire on this place, and now the land is clean or clear to start a cow farm,
ranch,
soy plantation farm. So, and they sell this land as is an illegal land, but as I said, it's very complicated to control this area. And someone goes with this project to put a cow or soy plantation, and that's it. And very happy, in very fast moment, a big area of the forest is just down, and the forest is dying. And what is going on right now? We are in July, and next month, August, is that's it, because right now the rain season in the Amazon forest is just finishing, and now they are putting fire in all the area they can, to clean the area and start the plantation in September. So what's going on? That's it. We have a president who really don't care about the Amazon and conservation. He wants to legalize these criminals who was cutting off the trees and doing illegal activities, and was the promises he made during the campaign. And right now, the people are encouraged to put fire on the forest. So we have this problem. I am traveling to the Amazon forest in 2-3 days. Start my documentation about the fires, the forests, and this deforestation problem. This is very complicated because some researchers and scientists, they are talking about we are arriving in a no-return point. That means if the forest if the deforestation process got like 25% of the whole territory of the Amazon forest, the forest starts a process that we call a non-return point. That means it can regenerate by itself. So it will be a very complicated problem for the Amazon forests. And what's going on? That's it. The government in Brazil never was thinking about some sustainable projects. That means bring some money, but with the forest untouchable.
Right.
And we really can do that. We have a lot of good ideas and projects in Brazil. What we don't have, it's government actions. That's what's going on in Brazil.
Yeah, what you're describing, what you're describing is extremely sad, and it's what's going on in Africa too. We have leaders that don't care about the land and the people, so they let corporations come and do anything that they want. Even in the Congo, the situation is the same. In Kenya, in Kenya, the Karura forest is being grabbed, and as we speak, my hometown is called Kisumu, and it's right on Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria is now flooding. Climate change there is serious. People are moving, thousands of people since January. So it's a world crisis. People don't think that it's bad. It's very bad. So another angle that I'm seeing here is that as a journalist who is sharing this story and bringing the story to the world, you are endangering your life a lot, because you are in between a government that is not interested in doing something about this, in between maybe some community members or the corporations that are benefiting from this, and also the people that want to preserve it. But you're in between all these people. How do you stay safe, and then how do you keep yourself mentally healthy?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Simon. In fact, I was thinking about that, and I am in peace with death. That's what's happening. I mean, if it's my my time to death. I don't know. It's okay. I mean, it's sad to say that, but I'm doing. It's not. I'm not doing a job. I mean, it's a very important story for me. It's one of the reasons why I'm living. I mean, I am very concerned with the Amazon conservation.
I want to see more people in Africa doing this, documenting the damage happening to many parts of Africa, and that's part of my motivation to talk to you today, because your commitment is just truly inspiring, and I wanted to talk to you about what a father figure means to you. When you think about a father, what comes to your mind?
Yeah, well, my father, he's like a Japanese guy. Like he's a very he had a military education almost, because you can imagine Japanese, and they are a very strong culture, very disciplined. I mean, all the time is very serious. And my father, he's a very nice guy. And he teach me the main values, the most important things about how I can say that in English. I'm so sorry.
About life.
About life, but by our character. I mean, what is correct and integrity. Yeah, precisely. So. I don't care what kind of job you are doing in your life. My father all the time they say that. I don't care. I just want you to be respectful people, respect the other people, and have some good qualities. And my father and my mother, they teach me that we are living in a very inequality world, in a very inequality society. I think this background, this education process, it was the most important thing in my life, because right now I am a photojournalist concerned with Amazon deforestation and another very complex problem we have here in Brazil, as you have in Africa. And it was consequence of the way of my fathers are seeing the life, and the way they are seeing the life, we are in a very inequality society, this savage capitalism. So I think this is the legacy. I mean, I am grateful for this education process with my father all the time. He was teaching me what is the correct thing to do in life. So it's something that the life can teach you, a teacher can teach you that, but the first education comes from our fathers and mothers, and that's it. I think this is the most important legacy I have from my father, and I am very grateful about that, because here in Brazil, we had, as in Africa, we have a dictatorship military period. We have where military was in the power, and it was very terrible moment and a sad moment. A lot of people was dying, and a lot of friends of my father's. So I grew up with this dictatorship stories. That ends in the 80s here in Brazil, but my father and my mother, they was fighting during this period, so it's a very strong point in my life. So that's it, man. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, from where you are in Brazil, sometime in the Amazon, when you receive news about Black fathers, especially Black men, people always say Black fathers are lazy and all of irresponsible, absent. And I just wanted to get your perspective, from the Black fathers you've met or about. Do you think this is a true perception? And if it is true, how can we change it? How can we make it better? How can somebody like me who has 3 daughters, show up in the world so that people know that, Black fathers are great people? Because whenever, for example, the killing of George Floyd here in the US, whenever people see that, they just say, oh, even Simon is going to end up like that, So we want to look for ways to share a different story about Black men, and that is part of why I started this platform.
Yeah, I think we have in all the countries of the world, I don't know, in US, in Brazil, we are very similar about inequality. I mean, in Brazil, it's even worse if you can compare with US. But the Black people here in Brazil, they are like 56% of the society.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, for sure.
I had no idea.
Yeah, for sure, precisely. But the situation is, we don't have Black people in the like directors of companies or journalists or whatever. And this is a very structural problem, and it's a historical problem. And I am very concerned about that as a white people, a white man photographer. And I am all the time thinking about how we can equilibrate, how we can balance and to live in a more equal society. This is something that really touched me. And I am discussing with my colleagues, some photographers, and how we can balance that. We can't have all the time this version, this narrative of the white man photographer in the Amazon. For God's sake, no. We can have that. I'm not the only one to document what's going on. No, please. And right now, as you said, in this globalization moment, we really need to document what's going on in our field, like in our area, in our community, in our city. I mean, the people in Africa need to document what's going on in the forest in Africa, because it's the same process. What's going on in Africa and Brazil.
Exactly.
For sure. So that's I have some colleagues, some photographers. One in US is Byron Smith, and he's not a father, but I don't know. I don't have too much friends that's not white people like me. So it's very. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I don't have the words in English, but
I feel what you're saying.
I am not here in Brazil. We are not saying the Black people in TV, in the novels, in everybody. I mean,
that's the problem here in the US too. That's the problem here in the US too. And I'm really, grateful that you've spoken to me about it passionately like that. And I feel like one of the things you're saying is for us to partner up with young Black people that are interested in being a journalist, or some of this there is no access, so I just want you to know that I've been taking a lot of journalists and filmmakers to Africa, and we've created projects together like documentaries, filmmakers from Lebanon. So I would love to connect with you and the other people you're working with. And also, if you know any leader in the Black Brazilian community that I can interview, whether it's a woman or just a soccer player, anybody, let me know, because the more we share their stories, the more they get opportunities.
For sure, because I think we are responsible about all this process that's going on in the society. And the time to change is right now.
Right.
We need to talk about all the situation is going on. The problem is, I don't know, in US I think it's a really similar situation, but in Brazil the people just don't talk about that.
It's just like that here too.
We don't have Black people are in all the areas. No, come on, universities and whatever. So I think as a Black man, it's like an obligation. I need to talk about that and bring these people to get access. So what I'm doing in the next year, not this year because I am full of job, but in the next year, I regularly, sometimes I work like 1 year as a mentor for some young photographers. And and next year I am giving this mentorship as a free process for 3 young black photographers. So some way I can share what I know about photography and
that's huge.
And give my hand to come on, let's do this together. Let's occupy all the places, because I was reading an article about that. The black journalists in the US, they represent like 7% in all the medias. In Brazil, it's like 2%. What?
Yeah, I know.
We are 56% of the population. So
that's not good.
It's very clear. It's very clear.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I am trying to change that in the way I can. I mean,
you're doing it.
I believe in this kind of revolution, like a small revolution, because it's an individual revolution. I can do that. You can do that. You can do that. And now we can. I give my hand to you, and we can build a new model of society, because I don't want to live in this kind of world where the police are killing black people here in Brazil all the time. So, come on.
So the idea too is to share stories so that people like you here and in Kenya connect black people in Brazil and here, so that black people there also see people like me who is creating platforms to tell stories, because everything starts from a conversation, So as long as we can seek each other out, we look for each other. For example, when I found you, I just spent time and I said, wow, this guy is doing a good job. I just need to have a conversation with him.
Thank you.
So when you do your cohort next year with those 3 photographers, I want to look for 3 photographers in Seattle from the black community, and also 3 in Kenya, so that they feel like
we can have this conversation.
And they do it at the same time,
for sure. Count on me.
Count on me too. Anyway, we will do a follow-up interview, because there's so much other things I wanted to talk to you about, but I just want all the viewers and the listeners of the African Father in America podcast to know that today I had the honor and privilege of talking to my brother Victor Moriyama, all the way from Sao Paulo in Brazil. We talked about his award-winning photojournalism work, his story, his upbringing, the time he spent in France, the influence of his brother, his younger brother on him, and the work they did around graffiti before he became a photographer. Then we talked about what a father figure means to him. We talked about the plight of black men and black people, in Brazil, and also, here in the US. And then now I want my brother Victor to share with you how you can stay connected with him, how you can find him online, and continue staying engaged with his work.
Yeah, thank you so much, Simon. I think we really need to talk about a lot of subjects that are common in Brazil, in Africa, and US. We live in the same world, and we have a lot of similar aspects. And for me, it was a pleasure to talk with you and
thank you.
And share what's going on here in Brazil, in the Amazon, and this very serious process of deforestation. And I am very sad, but by the other hand, I am strong to work and document what's going on with this deforestation problem. You can stay in touch with me on my Instagram. It's Victor Moriyama. It's easy to find me, or in my website, or I don't know, my email is victormoriyama.gmail.com. And let's fight for a better society. It's all the reason why I'm working on as a photojournalist, to bring more reflection to people to better understand the real problems that touch us around the world.
Thank you so much, my brother. So to the listeners and viewers of the African Father in America, I want you to know that we will be doing a follow-up conversation with Victor in the next month or so. And I just want you to remember to go to iTunes and rate the African Father in America podcast and leave a comment there. And also do the same on YouTube, subscribe and leave your comment and share. Thank you again for tuning in today. And Victor, thank you again for making the time. I know you're extremely busy and it means a lot that you made the time for us to talk today.
Me too, Simon. It was a pleasure. Count on me and what I can do to talk and discuss the ideas. I am here. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African Father in